Hello everyone, I am Senpai Ryan, and today we'll be going over some kicking drills. Onegaishimasu. So, prior to starting, we'll make sure that we stretch out and do our normal routine. Even though we're working on legs, we still want to stretch out the entire body. Kicking is a full body exercise. So, how the normal ones are. Start at the feet, run those out, knees, hips, and our upper body. So once you do that, the first set of drills we'll go into is knees. Knees directly translate into chambering, so we want to make sure we have those down. Here we're going to start with a Heiko chambers up. We're showing proper chambering here. Hands are in front, guarding us, almost guarding Gaka. Over here, starting with the right, each, knee, sun, cheek, go. You do it in sets of 5, sets of 10, various speeds. It's not quite as important. You can ramp up, ramp down. Either way, the important thing is to focus on the top of your knee and trying to really explode from the bottom of your foot up. To really get that knee up as quickly as possible. You can also do it at an angle, so you can go from right to left, left to right. You can do starting with up, going to the side, whichever way you want. They're all good drills to do. Additionally, if you want to make it even more complex, you can add some basic kihon into it. Shooting to the side, into a knee, and back to a knee, shifting diagonal, shifting straight up and into a diagonal, various ways. So it really is up to you how much you want to do, but this will directly translate into chambering, which is an important part for all our kicks. So going into more detailed kicking, so we have front kick, roundhouse kick, side kick, and back kick. So focusing on front kick first. Still staying with our Heiko Dutch stance here. It's very simple. Into a chamber, send the foot out, rechamber, foot back down. Main thing to watch for here is which part of your foot you're targeting with. Generally, you can target with either the ball of your foot or with the heel. Either way it works. The main difference is with the heel, you're pulling your toes back towards you, whereas if you're going with the ball foot, then you're actually pushing them out. The other way is and both of those are thrusting kicks, and the purpose is to push through what's in front of us. The other variant is the front snap kick. So in that case, your foot is actually flat, and quick in out. We're trying to quickly hit and retreat, not trying to push through. The other thing is, throughout the course of the kick, and really of all kicks, we want to make sure that our weight is down and that our foot that's still on the ground is not rising up. You don't want that. Main reason is you're losing your balance. So if your opponent decides to sweep you or grab you, or even just the act of blocking could be enough to make you lose balance, and you can step forward or step to the side. You'll lose control of your body. That's not something we want. So make sure that our body is firmly grounded. Additionally, make sure that we can actually apply force to our kicks and not lose it by trying to keep our balance. It won't be the same. Those are the main things there. Moving on to the roundhouse kick. So similar idea. This one will actually go into Hidari Kamae. So, chamber, snap the foot, rechamber, back down. So with a roundhouse kick, you're typically always going to be targeting with the instep of your foot there. That's always going to be the main way of using this kick. The other thing to look out for is with the foot that's still on the ground, you will normally have that pivot as you're kicking. This is to help open up your hip and allow you to kick higher. But again, like I said earlier, we want to make sure we keep our weight down. Otherwise, you'll lose control of the kick, you'll lose control of your movement. But ideally, you are able to pivot, keep your weight down, and do the kick correctly. Additionally, what you don't want to do is as you're pivoting, you don't want to bend like that. You want to try to keep yourself straight. This is again due to balance, and also if you're bending down here, you're more likely to lose control, more likely to get foot swept. It's not good posture. You won't have a strong kick, and you are hampering your ability to defend yourself quite quickly. So, main points there: keep weight down, put on back foot, and keep back straight throughout the course of the kick. So, moving on to side kick, somewhat similar in principle as far as we don't want to bend as we're doing this kick. Just chamber, extend out, rechamber, back down. We don't want to be bending over like that for the same reasons as with the roundhouse kick. Those will typically be either thrusting in a similar manner to the front kick with our heel, or we'll be using the outer edge of the foot. So for that, you'll be twisting the outer edge down towards the floor and the instep up towards the ceiling. Try to get a blade edge there. So with the side kick, one of the main things you want to look out for is it's not a front kick. You don't want your toes out or up. You want them to be to the side, parallel with the ground. Not only does it help the hip open up more, it's the correct posture and form. And again, you want to make sure you keep balance, keep your back straight, and that is the main thing for the side kick. So generally keep the back straight and keep your foot turned to the side, and I'll go on to the back kick. So the back kick, you will bend forward. That will happen. But you always want to make sure that you can maintain visual eyesight of where you're kicking. So if you're bending all the way over, you probably are not looking at where you're kicking. And that's not good. For this center chamber to the front kick, I'm going to spin back a bit. We're going to bend forward a bit. It goes out, rechamber, back down. So one of the main tendencies here is the foot's going to want to kind of go out to the side like a side kick. We don't want that. We want our toes pointed down, and usually we'll be pulling the toes back towards us, so kind of thrusting with the heel, similar to what we talked about with the front kick as well as the side kick. So the main thing there is to make sure that your toes remain pointed down and that you are targeting with the correct area of your foot. It takes practice, and it's something that I struggle with, so just really try to emphasize that particular point. Maintaining eye contact the whole way. One of the last things is, as we talk about our hands, we don't want our hands to drop as we're kicking. Sometimes there's a tendency to kind of have a roundhouse kick like this. Well, this hand down here is now unable to protect me. This hand should remain up, ready to block and defend myself. Same thing with a front kick. My hands remain in front of me, they remain up and ready to be used for defense. So, those are the main pointers. Kind of as we talked about with the knee kicks at the beginning, as far as incorporating movement, that can be done with the front kicks. So after you've done knees, you can add front kicks into that. You can also incorporate movement with any of the kicks that we mentioned. You can get creative, moving diagonally, moving forwards and backwards. Many different applications, but for now, that is a good place to start with. Getting the foundations of kicking right is important, and stance drives a lot of that. So work on the stance, work on the form, work on targeting, and your kicks will get markedly better. Thanks. Arigato gozaimasu.